guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled Old Man Parks His Car in the Middle of the Road. Somehow I'm at fault? Something bizarre happened to me yesterday. I was pulling into a parking lot when the car in front of me suddenly came to a complete stop in the middle of the lane. Its owner, an older white man, turned it off, got out and started walking into the nearest store in the strip mall. He just parked his car in the middle of the lane. I could have gotten around it if I really tried, but it'd be dangerously close to either his car or other parked cars. I lightly tapped my horn twice at him, seeing as how I was essentially stuck now. He turned around and I rolled my window down and said to him, "That's not a parking space." He dramatically pointed at my car and then did this right this way motion with both hands, sort of aiming at the very narrow path that I guess he thought I should be able to get through. I repeated myself again, "Sir, that's not a parking space. I can't get around you." Him. "Why is it that one of you people every time just go around?" "So he's done this before?" Me. "Sir, what are you doing? That's not a parking space. I need you to move." Him. "I need you to mind your own business." Me. "Come on, you can't park there. Please just move your car." At this point his lips were doing that weird shake that old people do when they hang their mouths open. I guess he thought he was being intimidating? He stepped up to my window and yelled. Him. "You wanna make me?" Okay, so he's done this before and he's being an aggressive jerk? Now I've read on here where other people have interacted with older Karens and there's apparently a card that you can play that bypasses this sort of attitude. Me. "Sir, are you okay? Do you know where you are?" Him. "What?" Me. "Are you with someone? Is there someone who's supposed to be helping you today?" Him. "What are you?" Me. "Do you need help? It sounds like you don't know where you are and I'm worried for you. Is there anyone I can call for you to help you?" I think he caught on to me at this point because he switched back from confused to being angry again. Him. "I don't know, is there anyone I can call for you? Is that somehow a threat? IDK. Me. "Sir, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. You just stay right there and I'll call someone who can come help you. Don't worry, it'll be okay. Just don't move and I'll call for an ambulance." At this point I backed into a parking space that had opened behind me and pulled out my phone. I really was going to call 911, but only because he was too confrontational to be left unattended in public. Of course, as with most bullies, the moment they realize they don't have power over you, he gave up, muttered something, got back in his car and left. On my way out of the lot, I saw that he had miraculously found his way into a parking spot on the other side of the lot. The next story is titled Leave It a Mess, You're Going to Make a Mess for Yourself. So, I was a phlebotomist for 6 years at our local hospital and I worked both first and second shift. Because I worked both shifts, I obviously knew the different types of workloads that came with each shift, and although yes during the day we had a lot more outpatients, in the evening the staff went from around 10 to just 3, we're a small town, so it would just be one phlebotomist and 2 lab techs. Well, this particular day shift phlebotomist would always leave her room a huge mess. She'd leave trash all over the place, supplies all over, and never fill back up the supply stock trays like we were supposed to do before she left. So, in the evenings I'd have to clean that all up, all while also trying to do my normal job as I was the only one there. The lab techs work in the back processing and running the lab tests. After a few times I asked nicely if she would make sure to clean up her station before she left, and she responded that she was too busy, and I had plenty of time to do it on second shift for her, even though it was literally her responsibility and no one else did this. So what I decided to do was, after cleaning her mess up and refilling everything, there was a big plastic bag full of the plastic hubs that go over the needles, and when I put it back in the drawer I made sure to place it in there upside down so when she came back in the morning and eventually had to refill her tray, we went through a lot so we refilled multiple times a day. When she picked the bag up the huge bag of hubs all fell out all over the floor. It was like 100 of these things and it made a huge mess that she then had to clean up lol. So almost every time she'd leave a mess after that I would make sure to put the bag in upside down. The first time it happened, and it actually worked, I just died laughing. but eventually she caught on and came up to me and said that I needed to be more careful with putting the bags away because she keeps spilling them all over the place. So, I replied, "Sorry, I don't have time to pay attention to how I'm putting the bag in. You should just try and look before you pick it up." Her face was priceless and she hardly ever left her station a mess when it was me on second shift after that. But every once in a while I'd still put the bag in upside down and crack up laughing at my dumb petty joke lol. There were even a few times that I had to work first shift the next day and got to hear the sound of them falling all over the place and her flipping out, and I laughed so hard I almost peed my pants. The next story is titled "Am I the A-hole for complaining about a property agent who tried to come into my home after I wouldn't let her?" So, I 21F, recently moved. Although the area is good, the house I'm renting looks like it may be an old crack den. Due to this, I'm very vigilant and paranoid with my security. So, this morning I'm sitting in the lounge room when I hear someone rattling my screen door. I open the wooden door to see this woman standing there with an angry look on her face. I said hello and asked what she was doing. She said she was there for an inspection. I told her that I was told it was next Tuesday, and today was Thursday, and I was not aware of any changes. While I was saying this, she had her key in the door trying to open it still. She said she was right, and that it was today, and she must come inside to do the inspection. I told her my address. She said that's right. I said something must be wrong, this isn't the right day. She very rudely told me that, Lily, and I was supposed to do an inspection over the phone with her while we were in isolation, and because we wouldn't, she was here for an inspection. I told her my name. I don't know a Lily, and a Lily doesn't live here, but maybe the previous tenant was Lily? She said she was sure I must know her and to let her in to get it over with already. I said no, because something wasn't right. She held up her phone to show me the booking and I held mine up to show it was true. In a very angry tone, she said, "Well, why don't you at least open up the door to talk to me properly because I can't see through that." I did hesitantly, and she showed me her phone. I immediately saw a different with the same street. I pointed this out to her and said that this is XX suburb. She said her name was Lisa, and she just took over the property. Google sent her to the wrong address, which explained why her keys weren't working. I asked what agent she works for. She told me, then left. I called the company and explained what had happened, that she had made me feel scared in my own home, that she was very rude, unprofessional and unapologetic after her mistake was pointed out. How she wouldn't listen to me when I told her that something wasn't right so many times. They apologized and said that because she hadn't seen the property before, and because the tenants there were known to be difficult, she was expecting issues, hence her attitude. I told them that regardless, that it was very unprofessional, and I wouldn't want my agent to talk to me like that, and that I'm glad she didn't try to go through the side gate of my house because if she did my dog would have ripped her to pieces if she tried to go in like that. I said I understand the issue with Google, but at least not have been so rude. I later got a call from my agent, different company, asking me what happened, and if I was okay, and mentioned that that agent had called her because I had complained. While I get accidentally going to the wrong address, I felt the way she handled it was very wrong, which is why I complained. So, am I the a-hole for making a complaint? Comment said you're definitely not the a-hole. She was unprofessional and made you feel unsafe in your own home. She didn't confirm the address before trying to break into a stranger's residence, and she didn't care when she found out that she was in the wrong. She needs to get her attitude in check before she does something very stupid. Here's to hoping your call helped. The next story is titled There is an Emergency. Hello folks, back with another story. This one is probably one you can all relate to, even those of you who have 24-hour reception. You can probably 100% imagine a guest doing something similar to you. To start with some background, I work in a small economy brand, 90-room hotel. We close reception at a certain time and begin our after-hours process. Normally we send out messages to people with a safe code for check-in. However, very often we don't actually have contact details. In the situation, the guest has to press the intercom and wake our lovely night manager, 5 nights a week it's me, to get assistance. Nice and simple. On a side note, we literally have about 5 signs at the entrance of various sizes and colors directing people to use the intercom, and for some reason people still can't figure it out. Anyway, let me introduce our cast. DNM, Depressed Night Manager, me, Diane. Diane is the new age Karen Beetlejuice, couldn't think of a name. So it was a few hours before closing and this young couple came to check in. Both had a Vaj Central European accent, which is uncommon at least in my Australian hotel, but not rare. The thing that struck me immediately at check-in was the red flags. They weren't exactly rude, but they definitely weren't polite either. They clearly hadn't researched our location before booking. They'd booked through a third party and were grumbling about our location. I mean, our location is crap, but it's not hard to plug it into Google Maps before you come. I told them there was no food and that the bar and all drinks closed at 10. I sent them on their way to the local grocery store to buy dinner and off they went. I closed reception as normal and thought nothing of it. Just some slightly unpleasant guests who were now dealt with. I headed up to my room to sleep. At around 11:30 I was woken up by the high-pitched nightmare that was the emergency intercom phone. I'm not kidding, it's impossible to sleep through. I jumped out of bed, chucked on clothes and shoes and raced downstairs. It was just an elderly guest who needed help with check-in. I happily helped, as I'm always happy to. On my way back in I saw Diane standing in the lobby, and Beetlejuice sitting in the corner of the dining room with shopping bags and, most importantly, several full bottles of water. Diane. I would like to buy water. DNM. Sorry, unfortunately we are closed right now, but there are vending machines around the corner that dispense water. Diane grumbled something and wandered off. In the corner, Beetlejuice gave me the death stare and shook his head as though I was literally the scum of the earth. I chose not to engage him and just went to bed. Anyway, it's now 1:30 a.m. And I am once again woken by the phone. Now, I am quite proud of how quick I can get up and get downstairs. Most of the time it's about 15 seconds. This time is no different. The second I get down there I see Beetlejuice and I already know what this is about. Internally I lose every last inch of my sanity in preparation for the crap fight. Externally I remain the god of passive-aggressive hospitality that I have. DNM. Did you press the emergency intercom? BJ. Yes, you took far too long. DNM. I came as quick as I could. How can I help? BJ. I want water. DNM. The emergency intercom is for emergency use only. It says that on all the signs outside and the intercom itself. BJ. There is an emergency. DNM. Okay, what's the emergency? BJ. The emergency is that I am a hotel guest, and I don't have water. That's right. That was his emergency. DNM. Sir, that is not an emergency. BJ. How is it not an emergency? I am a hotel guest. DNM. Sir, it says on the sign that the intercom must not be used to order food or drinks. BJ. Duck you. Just give me water. DNM. Sir, I can't do that, it's against hotel policy. If you want water you can purchase some from the vending machines. BJ. I am not using a ducking vending machine that is for poor people. Yes. He said that. At a budget hotel. BJ. Just give me water, are you not a human or something? Have some compassion. It was 1:30 a.m. My compassion had run out. DNM. Sir, unfortunately I cannot do that as reception is closed and we do not offer that. BJ. Give me water, this hotel is such a ducking crap hole. I mean, he is right about that. I then tried to explain another way. DNM. Sir, if a shop was closed, and you called the owner and woke them up in the middle of the night demanding to buy water, despite being closed, would you expect to get water? BJ. This is a hotel, not a shop, you ducking idiot. DNM. Okay sir, even if reception was open I would be denying you service due to your behavior. I have directed you to the vending machines. Please return to your room before I am forced to evict you. I thought he was going to keep arguing, but he just sulkingly made his way over to the vending machine and then returned to his room. I happily went back to sleep. It's funny cause there are lots of situations with nice guests where I will just end up buying them a drink myself from the vending machine for them. But not this lot. Like, I get people are thirsty, but I don't see any reason why people feel the need to wake someone up and feel so self-entitled that they will be such a ducking dirtbag piece of crap and they would rather do that than just simply use a vending machine. It really annoys me. Like, stop being so entitled please. The next story is titled Grumpy Church Group Seems Confused About What My Job Is. A local church rented a few adjoining rooms for like a week or so for their pastor or other church officials. I am not sure what their business is, but they seem like they're busy with meetings etc. There are always people coming and going and they like to congregate in our breakfast area by the lounge. They make coffee and bring snacks, refreshments or whatever and meet for a few hours or so. This hasn't been an issue as we haven't been particularly busy, but as the holiday approached we steadily got more and more busy. They're not rude per se, but they aren't exactly pleasant either. They asked me a number of times for plates, cutlery etc. that I provided from our stores, and after the third time or so I told them our supplies are running low so I can only provide so much. They gave me a look like they were thinking, "What kind of place is this?" and took what I offered. Sometimes they don't completely clean up after themselves either, which is annoying. A few times they asked me to ask other guests to leave their meeting area, because they were disturbing them. I informed them that other guests are free to use our public spaces as they like. I didn't want to sound rude, but I suggested if they held their meeting in their rooms no one would disturb them there. More, what kind of rat hole is this, stairs? We sold out fairly early yesterday and I was running through the bucket checking info and helping guests' phone calls, etc. When one of the church members came to desk looking grumpier than usual. He was glaring at me with a sour bulldog face as I was hanging up with a guest. I braced and internally prepared for whatever this was going to be. He asked me what I was doing. I said, "Helping guests at the moment, what can I do for you?" He said, "Bulldog. When you were doing whatever you were doing, people have been eating our cupcakes from our meeting area, they were meant for later." Me. "I'm sorry sir, what meeting area?" Points to the breakfast area. Me. "I apologize sir, but that is our breakfast area, which is open to all our guests. If food is left there unattended, we are not responsible for what happens to it." BD. "So what should we do then?" I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. Keep it in one of your rooms until you're ready for your meeting maybe? BD. "I saw some dirty looking kid grab one, now we have to throw the rest out. And there are people drinking at the bar being loud, causing a disturbance." He went on for a bit, I guess fully expecting me to clear out the area so they can have their meeting in their meeting area. I just repeated, it's a public space, we're not responsible for whatever they leave out, my job is to attend to guests and I can't police their cupcakes or whatever. I didn't say it like that, but I made my point. He, at least, expected full compensation for the cupcakes, and I said I can't clear that because they chose to leave their stuff in a public area and that isn't our responsibility at all. He got my name and my manager's cards and left. He didn't do anything about the cupcakes and he didn't say if they were going to meet there or not, so I just left it. Near the end of my shift, no one from the church had been by and the cupcakes were still there, so I just threw them away. They are only here through Saturday, thank God, and I'm off tomorrow so I don't have to see them. Praise. The next story is titled Abuse of Your Tax-Exempt Status? Recently we had a group come 15-ish rooms belonging to a church hours away from here, and it doesn't seem that they are here for any type of church-related function. They have actually been at the hotel almost the entire day or have left then returned within minutes at a time and just causing a nuisance, being excessively loud, running up and down the halls, yelling in their rooms and not really doing much to control their group members. I just thought that it was strange that they happened to come on Black Friday, haggled for a dirt cheap price and seem to have been doing everything but than the religious functions one would assume they are there for. It is just my theory that this is someone's family, same last name on every room, who is taking advantage of the church tax-exempt status to get the rooms at a significant discount and is just here to do major Black Friday shopping. Side note, I am not anti-religion. I love when we get religious groups staying with us, as they are generally some of the nicer people we get and they are just a breath of fresh air, but in this case it seems to be someone using church funds and tax-exempt status under the ploy of going on a religious retreat to just do Black Friday shopping, which is pretty shady emo. What do you guys think, and have you had similar stories of either a guest abusing the system of having a tax-exempt origination to get cheaper prices or something similar to that? If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.